Give me a few minutes, it will be starting shortly. I had to send an email to everyone. So can we start?
Yeah.
Okay, what is happening? What is happening here? Asmat Gurubhyo Namaha, Asmat Parama Gurubhyo Namaha, Asmat Sarva Gurubhyo Namaha, Shri Krishna Parabrahmane Namaha, Sarvam Shri Krishna Pramastu. So today we will be starting the Shankara Bhashya. Can you see my screen? Can you see my screen?
Krishna, we are seeing your video, not your screen.
Okay, just a second. Share screen. Share screen. Share screen. Share. How about now?
We can see it now, Krishna. You're not in the presentation mode, but now you are in the presentation mode. Yeah.
Okay, it's good enough, right?
Yes.
Okay. All right. So we'll be starting lecture 62. Okay, fundamentally, I already put this on the screen. The way I'm dealing with, I'm sure you already know, we want to understand Advaita, Vishishta Advaita, and Dvaita in depth, right? I'm not following the typical way Bhagavad Gita is taught by many people. They will just present one point of view. Some Swamijis present only Advaita point of view. Some people present only Vishishtadvaita point of view. And some present only Dvaita point of view. You already know that I'm not doing it. And today I was studying Shankara Bhashya for even the first few chapters. Why I want to review and I want to understand if some people have not understood certain concepts, I want to go through them very clearly. Unless you all agree that you know the Shankara Bhashya and Madhava Bhashya for the first few chapters very well. See, the reason why I'm saying is each Acharya builds upon their viewpoint from the very beginning. So we need to understand the mindset of the Acharya. When you understand, say, chapter 4, you have to very clearly know what Shankaracharya talks about chapter 2, chapter 3, at least in an overview, critical aspects, some really distinct aspects, you should know very well. Otherwise, you will not be able to understand chapter 4. In fact, when I started working on chapter 4, I suddenly thought, how would people understand if they don't know a couple of things? How the viewpoint is there from the Shankaracharya's point of view. So I was thinking we need to look at it. And this is based on how Sri Kesri Swami has taught us that don't understand these systems as, oh, my system is better, other systems are wrong, kind of a viewpoint. Unless you have a very strong conviction about it, unless you know all these systems inside out, and you've probably done a lot of tapas and meditation and everything, and now you clearly feel the path to go is a particular system of thought to go, then you should be able to not worry about any other system, because you've already known all those systems. And to you, some particular systems, a particular system makes a lot of sense. So in my view, based on what Kesri Swami has told us, all these Acharyas are stars in the galaxy of Vedic thought. Is this approach okay with all of you people?
Yes.
Any
Yes,
comments?
Krishna.
Everybody is on board with this kind of approach, right?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay. Now let us review some fundamental concepts. Okay. I also want you to understand. See, this is not like a one-way lecture, and you know somebody takes a lecture and finishes 100 lectures on Gita and walks out. I want you to understand some concepts very well. See, in the Natve Vaham Jatunasam Natvam Neme Janadipaha Nacheva Na Bhavishyamaha Sarve Vayamataha Param. This is actually chapter 2. What really is the view of Shankaracharya? Shankaracharya says there is only one Atma, but here the reference is for there never was a time where you were not there, or nor these kings, and never will there be a time in the future where we won't be there. All of us will be there eternally forever. This is what is the verse. And Shankaracharya here says the plurality is based on the word usage of plurality is based on bodies being multiple. But the Jivatmas, he does not care about the Jivatmas actually. What Shankaracharya does not care. He says there's only one Atman which is really existent, which is Sat. The others seem to be sublated. As one spiritually progresses and understands better, everything else gets sublated away. And that is known as mithya. And hence, there's only one real Sat entity, which is known as Atma. For Shankaracharya, the word Atma means Brahman, only one. Is this verse clear to all of you? Any questions on this verse? From the Shankaracharya perspective, do you agree with this view? Do you understand this view? Why Shankaracharya says this? Any thoughts?
I don't know. I can agree or disagree with that. It's this is very different, of course. Of course, Krishna, you know me. I started off with the Advaitic view, but now that I understand the Ramanuja view, for me to kind of say, yeah, I agree with this, I cannot bring myself to say I agree with this, but I understand it. And I also like the word you used. You said sublated, meaning gets absorbed in. I think that's a nice way of putting it. I understand it, but I don't know if I quote unquote agree with it.
Okay. See, what Shankaracharya is saying is the cause is real. The cause, that's why I wanted to understand, explain this concept even clearly as we go a little bit further. The cause is real. What is the cause? The original cause is Atma. That Atma is only Brahman. There is nothing else, right? And all other entities we come across in this universe, like ourselves, like others, like the kings, like the war, like everything, the mud, the rain, the earth, stars, everything around us. They are experiences we have. We really do experience them, but they don't stand. They will go away. They will they are first of all transient, and the only thing which stays, exists continuously without any change forever is Atman. That Atman is only one. That is the cause of every entity, including the what we call as Jivatmas, what we call as matter, everything. There is only one, which is the basis, that is the cause. That's what Shankaracharya says. Here, what it is Bhagavad Gita gives a lot of scope for different views. The Bhagavad Gita gives a lot of scope for different views. And this, when you understand Natve Vaham Jatunasam Natvam Neme Janadipaha, from Shankaracharya's perspective, that's what we are trying to understand Shankaracharya's perspective very well, right? That's the idea here. But how do you compare between other systems and all? We will eventually do that in a much, much deeper way. But now you have to understand his view very well. Appreciate his view very well in the sense that, oh, this is what it is.
Krishna, may I interrupt for 10 seconds? Could you like break down that sloka 12 and show us why Shankara interprets it this way?
See, the word is the words are very simple, right? Natu eva aham jatu nasam, right? See, we can interpret exactly the way we are interpreting. There is no difference. See, aham jatu na nasam. That means I was never not there.
Correct. Yeah.
Natvam. Neither were you, never not there. Neme Janadipaha. These kings never were not there. Nachaiva na bhavishyamaha. Even in the future, we will not cease to exist. Sarve vayam ataf param. All of us from here onwards will not cease to exist.
Right? He has used double negatives for each of these things to say, instead of saying it is there, he says it is not that it's not there. So he has used double negatives to absolutely insist that it is always there.
See, think about this. This is Shankaracharya. It's not about Shankaracharya talking about like this.
This is Krishna.
Lord Krishna himself is using double negatives in the original verses, right?
Yes.
This is original verse of Bhagavad Gita.
No. What I'm trying to see now that I understood, listen to the Vishishtadvaita view and understand it. What I'm struggling to see how could this be interpreted to show that the aham and tvam are the same.
See, okay, good question. What here, Shankaracharya is not saying aham and tvam are the same here. Definitely, Shankaracharya says that never was a time where you or I did not exist. Never was there a time when you did not exist. See, this is Lord Krishna speaking, right? Lord Krishna speaking. So he is referring to himself. When he say aham means, it is Lord Krishna. So never was there a time when Lord Krishna did not exist. Never was there a time when you means here Arjuna, you did not exist. Never was there a time when all these kings assembled on this battlefield did not exist. They will, in the past or in the future, they always existed, right? All the things Shankaracharya is saying is, here there is a use of bahuvachana. Bahuvachana means a lot of, bahuvachana means plural words. Like they, all of us, all these are plural words. But basically there is only one Atma. Why is there a plural word? This plurality refers to the bodies and bodies and mind and intellect, a combination of BMI, like how Swami Chinmayananda says, BMI means body, mind, intellect. So Arjuna is a body, mind, intellect. One king is another body, mind, intellect, and all these kings are body, mind, intellect compositions, or complexes, right? Composites, whatever. So, in one second. See, body, mind, intellect, or each one is a body, mind, intellect combination, BMI. All these are definitely plurality is there. Then this shloka basically indicates that there is eternality and plurality, like how Ramanuja.org takes it. Definitely the shloka is talking about eternality and plurality. But Shankaracharya says, let us just keep eternality. Plurality is not important here. Plurality basically will all go away and only one thing exists. And that exists, what exists is only Atman. All the body references, bodies will break away anyway. Bodies are anityas. BMI complexes will break away, they'll go away. And all the matter will be absorbed in one. And all the, we are thinking that there is so many Jivatmas, but there are not so many Jivatmas. The Jivatmas may be there, but everything will just get combined into one. There's only one reality. That is the one which is eternal. That is what Shankaracharya is saying. Do you understand? See, the focus for Shankaracharya is Atman or Brahman. The focus for Ramanuja.org is he considered all the entities, everything else, and gives value to Jivatma as eternal, separate entities. Shankaracharya, even though he agrees that there is something which leaves the body and goes to another body, and that person who identifies himself with the body is the Jivatma. Even Shankaracharya agrees with Jivatmas. He talks about Jivatmas all the time. But that is not important. Eternality is not associated with those many, but eternality is associated with only one. And that is the unconditional truth. Do you understand?
I do.
I will put one more monkey wrench into this, because many of these people who are used to understand Ramanuja Sampradaya or a Madhva Sampradaya are so ingrained in thinking that Advaita is somewhat vague, complex, not reasonable or something. I'll put a monkey wrench right now. Even Ramanuja.org in the Sri Bhashya says, I don't know if the exact quote, I will find the exact quote because I don't remember the quotes of original quotes. What he says is, Nirupadika Satya. The Nirupadika Satya is only one, that is Brahman, is the only Nirupadika Satya. Nirupadika Satya means unconditional truth is only one, that is Brahman. Tena Achit tatsamsprishtaha chetanascha vyavrittaha, he says. That means because there is only one unconditional truth, Satya, the matter and the Jivatma stuck in matter are not included in that one unconditional truth. This is his statement in the Sri Bhashya. I'm going to take this statement and then send it out to you after this class because I'm not able to find it right away. What do you do about this statement? This is not me. This is not an invention here that, this guy corrupted Vishishtadvaita view by bringing this statement from nowhere. I did not bring this up. It was brought by Sri Ramanuja.org in the Sri Bhashya. We cannot take it lightly. We cannot say that, delete that statement, man. It's one of the thousands of statements. In all other statements, Ramanuja.org meant something else. In one small statement, he made a small, maybe a mistaken sentence, or he meant something else and he said something else. Can you say this? Will you be justified? There is a reason behind it. Yeah, what is the problem in multiple things being true? If the garbage here on earth is also 100 as true as Brahman. See, everybody is saying everybody is as true as Brahman, right? Everything is true. Oh, we are all reality kind of, our schools is a school of reality. Oh, everything is real. The light is real, the phone is real, this is real, that is, I am real, everything is real, the garbage is real, the plumbing is real, the sump is real, every stinking thing on earth is real. That means it's always there. If Satya, truth, is always there, and if you consider all these things are 100% Satya, every bathroom, gate room, everything is 100% Satya, how will you run away from this truth? Asato ma sadgamaya. That is the verse, right? The famous statement of the Upanishad. Take me from this unreality to reality. Asato ma sadgamaya, tamaso ma jyotirgamaya. Take me from this darkness to light, jyoti. When somebody says, eventually you have to go to that jyoti, the light, and the truth, asato ma sadgamaya. Tamaso ma jyotirgamaya, mrityor ma amritam gamaya. Take me from mortality to immortality. This is the Upanishad shloka. So if you take all this garbage, crap, everything as ultimately true, even if you go to Vaikuntha, that will not leave you. The same garbage, the same stinking smell, the smell, the same, everything here. Somebody slapped me here. I will remember in Vaikuntha if I go to Vaikuntha. I killed somebody, I have to remember that too. Nothing goes away. If everything is 100% real, always true, everything is that, then how can it go away? It will always exist. If it exists, there is a problem, right? That means you will never be this problem, the bondage, the bad experiences, pain, everything becomes real. That means everything becomes eternal. If it is eternal, then what's going to happen? Matter becomes eternal. The relationship with matter becomes eternal. 1 second, somebody is entering here. Okay. Everything will become eternal. If everything becomes eternal, Jivatma becomes eternal. Our relationships, our experiences, if it becomes eternal, you will never get rid of this anyway, even in Vaikuntha, because it's real. Even God does not want to take reality away from you. See, that is where we have to accept some kind of stratification of reality. Satyasya satyam, pranavai satyam. This is again Brihadaranyaka, some Upanishad. Satyasya satyam. It is truth of truth. The first is the Satyasya, that Satya is understood by Sri Ramanuja.org as Jiva, and Paramatma is Satyasya Satyam, that is truth of truth. Ramanuja.org agrees with this. There may be a difference in view by Sri Madhvacharya. That we have to consider later after we come to the Madhvacharya view of reality and the Madhvacharya view of Pratibimba, Bimba Vada. So that is why, we are trying to give very deep assessment of these shlokas, not be colored by only one view. Now tell me, based on what I just said, don't you think we have to think very clearly here that we just cannot say, okay, jivas are eternal, there are multiple of them, and there will never be a time where all these jivas will not exist. So they will be multiple, they will be real, they will be separate, distinct. That means everything is forever separate, distinct. Then what happens to experiences? What happens to Prakriti? Prakriti is also Prakritim Purusham Chaiva Vidyanadi Ubhavapi. This is there in Bhagavad Gita. So Prakriti is eternal too. If you want to cleanse yourself, remove all the pain, bondage and everything, something has to go away. Bondage has to go away forever. Take this very clearly here. Suppose somebody goes to Vaikuntha and the bondage goes away completely, that it doesn't come back at all. What do you call that bondage as? Do you call that real, eternal? No. You say that was there. I felt the bondage. I went through so many lives. I went through pain, pleasure, relationship, breakage of relationships, births and deaths. All these things I went through. But now that I am in Vaikuntha, all these things don't exist. I don't even have the remembrance of that. I don't know anything about it. All I know, I am in Vaikuntha, I'm enjoying the Lord, I'm pretty much one with the Lord. Aham Brahmasmi Anubhavati. I'm experiencing almost like one. This is how Ramanuja comes later on. That is why we cannot take a summary of the story is. After first chapter, I take summary of the story is. After second chapter, the summary of the story is. We cannot do that. We have to consider Acharya's view in a 360-degree view. Don't you agree?
We should definitely have this kind of summary after the first Shadga and then the second Shadga and the third Shadga. And at the end of third Shadga, it will probably become a lot more involved. Because I agree,
Yes.
the whole Nirupadika Satya versus the Upadika Satya, we have to talk about it.
I purposefully did not bring this up. See, when I was dealing till now, like 5 chapters, I didn't want to confuse you between 2-3 different points of view. So even from Ramanuja point of view, there are certain, question marks. The Samanya Sampradaya, the Sampradaya will give up a level 1 detail, they will give you. And after level 1, they will not give you any detail of the Sampradaya. They will just say, don't worry, you will get it, or something like that. But when you look at level 2 details of Ramanuja Bhashya, now we are considering the problem. Only Sri Kesvi told me this point of view. I would have never understood this point of view if Sri Kesvi did not mention that. I asked him in one of the question answer sessions, what is wrong in having everything around me is reality? I always believed that Ramanuja Siddhanta is, this is real. Everything around me is real, as eternal as me. And we don't believe in 2 levels of reality. That is horrible, stupid. This is the way I told Sri Kesvi. Why would I believe in 2 levels of reality? One is Mithya, one is Satya. Oh my God, it's all nonsense. I started thinking like that. Sri Kesvi said, if you think your bondage is as real, the bondage will exist forever. And you will never be able to get out of it. Any other questions? Anybody else's view? Hope I'm making sense. Do you understand this, what we are talking about?
Krishna ji, if I can add, this is Sudarshan.
Yes.
So the 3 levels of Satya that I always keep hearing about, the Pratibhasika, Vyavaharika and Paramarthika Satya. So the Pratibhasika Satya, which is like the dream state reality, is only true only to you, because you are the only person who's experiencing it. And the Vyavaharika Satya can be a group truth, like a bunch of people can believe in something, a bunch of people can believe in something else. And the truth changes depending on geography, location, whatever the context could be. And the Paramarthika Satya, which is the only ultimate truth, that doesn't change irrespective of time or state or whatever it is. So it is a layer of truth based on the individual. I don't know if it can be used in this situation.
This is exactly what you said. This is the view of Advaita about you, about truth. Advaita presents these 3 levels of truth. That is Pratibhasika Satya, Vyavaharika Satya, and Paramarthika Satya. And you're right. And I think this is good for everybody to know. Pratibhasika Satya is just apparent truth, like the water in the mirage, or like the snake on superimposed on a rope which is curved or something like that, long rope which is curved and lying on the ground. And if you don't, if there is no enough light, somebody could mistake it to be a snake, and the snake is not real, but it's only an apparent truth, right? So that is a Pratyakshika Satya. Vyavaharika Satya is everything, like everything around us. It's all reality. COVID-19 is a Vyavaharika Satya. It is true. It's not unreal. People are dying. Yes, that is true. People are trying to find cure. That is true. If I go out, there is rain. The rain is going to drench me and I may get sick. It's all true. So this is the Vyavaharika Satya, the transactional reality. And ultimate Satya is Brahman only according to Advaita. We will talk about other systems slowly, right? What is the perturbation of Ramanuja Acharya's philosophy? And we talked about it enough. We have talked about it enough, but we have not come to the end of Ramanuja Acharya's philosophy. We have to re-evaluate all these things, looking at also not just Bhagavad Gita Bhashya. We have to look into the Upanishad Bhashya, Mandukya Bhashya, and several other things and say, okay, this is what it is. It is, that is the Ramanuja Bhashya. We have to take everything together and make a decision out of it. Oh my God, this is more complicated than I thought. We started with Bhagavad Gita, but we have to be consistent with all the Upanishads and stuff like that, because Bhagavad Gita is a summary of the Upanishads anyway. How does Vishishtadvaita takes reality into these three levels, or what levels of Vishishtadvaita? That we will take it later. It's a little bit complex. You cannot mix things because I don't know if you have seen Bhagavad Gita in Sanskrit. This is Bhagavad Gita in Sanskrit. You can see it, I guess. It's not big. If you put all the Sanskrit together, Bhagavad Gita looks like this. But if you look at philosophy books, they are really big, actually. There are huge books which analyze every other Upanishad and give you a much more clear view. Maybe here and there doubts are there. So we have to really bring all those things. We are only studying the summary right now. Bhagavad Gita is the essence of the Upanishads. There are a lot of details hidden, and Bhagavad Gita may not expose everything else. So the state of moksha, for example. How many verses do you see in the Bhagavad Gita which completely explain the state of moksha? Very less number of them. Okay. Any other doubts regarding this? Any other comments, doubts? Can we proceed? Hello?
Yes, Krishna.
You can proceed, right? Okay. Another thing I found about Bhagavad Gita is, we need to understand Shankar Bhashya very carefully. At certain points, you think that it's like, why? It doesn't make sense, right? Let's take one more shloka. Matra sparshastu konteya shita ushna sukha dukkadaha agama apayino nityaha tam sthitakshasva bharata. In this shloka, Shankaracharya clearly says, just like the Ramanuja Bhashya, Lord Krishna is telling Arjuna, look, anything which has contact, sparshaha matraha, that means the sense objects and the senses, they touch each other. That is, we always come in touch with sense objects. And it may be cold, hot, it may be cold or hot, it may be soft or hard, it may cause pain or pleasure, but all this come and go away. Agama apayinaha anityaha. Agama apayinaha, they come and they go away. Anityaha. Anityaha means they are not constant. They don't stay forever. Tam sthitikshasva bharata. You have to withstand all these problems. Withstand the pressure of life. Withstand the cold, heat, all the things which happen in the battlefield. You may be hurt. You have to stand up like a real warrior. Right? This is what general view of it. The same things Shankaracharya says, Matra Sparshastakon. There's no difference in the words when Shankaracharya says this. But he says that there's a different reason you should not be worried about hot or cold. He says, pleasure or pain, you should not be worried about. Why? In the next shloka, nasato vidyate bhavaha nabhavo vidyate sataha ubhayoropi drishtvantaha anayoho tattvadarshibhihi. Here he says openly, Avidyamanasya shita ushnadehe. He says that this cold or hot or pain or pressure does not exist. They are not sat. They are not real. Suddenly, when I read this shloka and Shankar Bhashya a long time back, what is this Shankaracharya saying? Pain is not real. If I take a dagger and hurt myself, cut my artery, don't you think it would pain? Pain is not real. What is Shankaracharya talking about? I was upset reading Avidyamanasya Shita Ushna Sukha Dukkadehi, he says. Avidyamanasya, it doesn't exist, man. There is no pain, there is no heat, there is no cold, and you're feeling it. But still, he says, it doesn't exist. It really threw me away. I couldn't even understand. And usually what people do is, oh my God, don't believe in Advaita. These people talk about something which you can't even understand. People always will throw it away. But it took me a long time to understand what Shankaracharya is driving at. What he is driving at is, one second. See, what is existing, what is not existing. Let us understand. That's what he says. A pot exists, right? I don't have a pot here to show. Should I have a pot? Pot exists. You break the pot. It doesn't exist, right? But what exists is only the mud. You made the pot out of a mud. So the karana or the cause exists. So that when you say the pot exists, it's only a form of the cause, a form of the karana or the mud. You call it pot. If you change the shape, you call it as a elephant. If you change the shape, you will call it as something else, right? A doll, something like that. So, really speaking, all of them are only mud. It is not all different shapes are there. What Shankaracharya says, the different changes do not exist. What exists is the root or the karana only. That's what he says. Look at his definition. You have to understand what this means. Yad vishya buddhihi na vyabhicharati tat sat. Yad vishya buddhihi vyabhicharati tat asat iti sadasat vibhage buddhitantre sthite sarvatra dve buddhi sarvaihi upalabhyete samanadhikaranena. He goes further in the shloka. The important point is, there are two understandings. Buddhist means cognitions, two cognitions. One cognition is, this is a pot exists. And the other cognition is pot does not exist. Suppose pot is not there, pot does not exist. What he says is, existence is qualified by different things. When we say pot exists, if pot breaks, I say this lens exists. If lens goes away, I say this pencil exists. But what is common? Existence. Existence is always there, but things may change form and shape and things like that. So what exists, that is what is real. What is changing, that is not real. That is asat, according to, look at his definition of sat and asats are different. You can always say, even if I break this, the parts are there and things like that. That's fine. What changes is not important. It is not, according to him, it's as good as non-existing. Even though we know it exists, even if I break this, it exists, we know it. But what changes is not real for Shankaracharya. Do you understand this? Do you understand this concept? Everybody?
Yeah.
Good. Good. I have to hear three voices for at least three voices.
No, I understand, Krishna.
Okay.
I at least understand the definition. Yes.
Oh, you understand the definition, right?
Yeah.
So, In that sense, then you can ask, is mud real? Mud is the karana, like, is mud real?
So then the mud came from the Atman, so the mud is also not real.
Ah, mud came from Atman, and mud is also not real, finally.
Pralaya, the mud will also become Atman, go into Atman.
Exactly.
So
And
the
after that, you know, what do you call, there's only one. And all this mud, earth, everything will, you know how the pralaya occurs, even scientifically, if you look, at, after 10 billion years, the sun will be cold, and earth will have no, this one, it will be swallowed by another black hole or something. Everything will go away, burn away, or get absorbed in something. That's what the scientists say even today. So everything will be absorbed into something. And like the black hole, which we don't see today, or black hole is not visible, like that Brahman is not visible, but everything gets absorbed into that big black hole Brahman. If I say this, somebody will be very upset with me, I'm sure. But I'm just giving an analogy.
Krishna, if I can
Yeah.
add, sorry, the other person can go ahead. Somebody else talk.
I was going by the same logic, Krishna, because we are now into logic part. Even Atman is not real by Shankara's logic because it came from the main Parabrahma or the actual Atma.
When you use the term Atman, are you using Jivatma or not? You have to be very clear.
Yeah, Jivatma, because Jivatma is this, it came from the main Atma.
Correct.
Even from that, if that is not real, then what are we talking about moksha here?
Moksha is from the good question. I'm not what do you call, putting down the question. The moksha is what do you call? It's not at the individual level. Moksha is a jnani will feel that he is Atman. Oneness with Atman. Total oneness with Atman is moksha for Advaita. Then he is not bound by the hot, cold, the pain, pleasure, death, or anything here. Right?
The dissolution of the delusion.
Dissolution of the delusion is moksha for them. So no problem. And delusion is not just a mental delusion. On a transactional level, the people go through pleasure, pain. They have to look for money. They're poor. They're having problems, and with all the diseases, everything around there, everything is a delusion for them, and it's a real experience too, like all of us. So there's no difference in that. All he says is you'll become one with Atman, and moksha is oneness with Atman, and there is no shanti, atyanta shanti, param shanti. And he will quote what the Upanishads like nobody's business. Shankaracharya has a lot of weapons.
Okay, Krishna.
Okay. See, the problem with English is we say things like existent and non-existent. Sometimes that doesn't, see, for example, if I take this and I break this up and make into pieces, according to Shankaracharya, it is non-existent, right? But the thing is, when we use it in English, even if I break, all the pieces are there and they're still existent according to English, right? So English is very confusing. Please understand the right import when you read this. Another important point from Shankar Bhashya. Do you understand this very clearly? This is a fundamental concept of Shankar Bhashya. All the karmas in the Vedas are prescribed for the avidushas, or the ignorant ones only. For the vidvan or jnani, one should refrain from all Vedic karmas or all karmas if possible. And no karmas are supposed to be done by that person. He is exempt from doing any karma. Do you understand the concept behind it? And why is this?
Again, does it mean he mean to say that when it's because there's only one ultimate truth and everything else is only a personified reality, then we are not bound by doing any karmas because ultimately it's not real?
See, Atma, the truth according to Shankaracharya is avikriya. Avikriya means not changing, right? It is not changing. It is constant. It is, we are still talking about the second chapter, because why am I taking second chapter now? Is for Shankaracharya, second chapter is the summary of the entire Bhagavad Gita. So we have to understand second chapter very well when we understand the rest of the chapters. Otherwise, we will not understand the Shankaracharya view of thinking, right? So here, avidvamsa means ignorant people. Ignorant people see all this multiplicity, all these problems, and things like that. But the knowledgeable one only sees one thing, that is Atman, and that is unchanging, and that is not subject to pleasure, pain, that is not subject to breaking, heating, burning, scratching, breaking up. Nothing happens to it. There is one Atman which is supporting everything else. It is supporting the illusory world of the universe, illusory universe. So if that Vidusha is a knowledgeable person, when knowledgeable person knows that he is only that and nothing else, he doesn't have to do work, because there is no work for that. Atman doesn't do any work.
So
Atman
Krishna, this is Jada Bharata level people, right? It's not for people like us. It's for Jada Bharata, who is constantly experiencing Brahman. No matter where he is, what he's doing is constantly experiencing Brahman. For him, not doing Kriya might be okay, right? Otherwise, for us, the Kriya, we are enjoying to do Kriyas.
Correct, you're right, 100% right. In fact, there is another Mahan I mentioned a long time back. I mentioned the example of a Mahan. That person's mother passed away, okay? And he was forced to go to the village to do the funeral rites for his mother. And he went there. And then the person, the Guruji, the Pujari or the priest asked him to do this, take the water here, you say Achyutaya Namaha here, you say this Anantaya Namaha, you do this, you leave. He was saying. And this guy was not able to do anything. The moment the Guruji told him, Achyutaya Namaha, take the water, sip the water, and the moment somebody put water on his hand, the person went into Samadhi and always thought of Achyuta and he forgot about everything else. And he was in a different mode, trance, Samadhi. And he could not do any more work. Then the Pujari started shouting at this person, why are you doing this? You're looking like a dumb person. I'm asking to do things faster so that we finish the whole rites. You're just sitting here. Then somebody who was sitting there told the Pujari, please don't shout at this great man. This person is not giving up karmas. The karmas have left him and gone away. He's in that state. So at a very high state, karmas are given up. So Vidvan, you rightly pointed out that Vidvan, according to Shankaracharya, is a very high level person like a Shuka Maharshi or somebody like that, right? It's not an ordinary person.
So Vidwan is not somebody that has the intellect. Vidwan is somebody that has the experience of what the intellect says.
See, this is the higher level of meaning here. But there is also in an ordinary level, even the follower of Shankara takes it directly differently. I told you about two levels of sannyasa for Advaita. What are the two levels of sannyasa in the Advaita tradition? Can anybody say? Anyone? I've talked about it before. So this is a review. We're coming like funda because you have to start understanding everything very well. it's just, I'm also learning as we go. I'm not saying I know all these things. I rarely remember things, and so I happen to remember these two things. What
I
are
don't
the
remember.
two?
Is it Sanyasi and Naishtika Brahmachari?
No. Anybody else? Two levels of sannyasa. We are talking about sannyasa. Any smartas who are born and bred in the smarta sampradaya, can they say? I see some smarta names. Can they say what are the two different types of sannyasa? Okay, I'll get, Vidvat sannyasa and Vividisha sannyasa. Have you heard these two terms? Vidvat sannyasa means a person who is a jnani and who takes up sannyasa. Vidvat sannyasa is something like Shankaracharya, who could do parakaya pravesha, who could just make his body take samadhi, go into samadhi and leave the body and go into the body of a king and experience what the king is experiencing and come back to the body and all those things. That kind of a jnani, that kind of a realized person is vidvat sannyasa. If that person takes up sannyasa, that is known as vidvat sannyasa. Today, I will not comment on any Acharya, any Smarta Sampradaya Acharya like Shankaracharya or different, the lineage of Acharyas. They call it as Vidvat Sanyasa, Vividisha Sanyasa. Vividisha Sanyasa means Jnatamicha Jignasa. Vividisha means to know. Vettumicha Vividisha, I think. That is to know they are taking sannyasa. They are taking sannyasa so as to become Vidvan eventually. That is allowed for them. For them also, they will give up all karmas. Even though the question comes, how can you give up karmas when you are still learning to become realized? But they allow it, because finally a Vidwan has to give up all karmas. You might as well give it up now. That's what. So there is a question. There's a controversy between can they do it or not. Only a Vidvat sannyasi is a true sannyasi. But Vividisha sannyasi is just learning. It's like a learner's permit to become somebody, right? Learner's permit. So for them also, Vedic karmas are given up. For example, one of the Acharyas of Smarta Sampradaya, they was telling, Yajna Yagadi karma, they are very strong Vedikas, right? They do Agnikarya, what do you call, Vaishwadeva, all these karmas they will be doing on a daily basis. Agnikarya, Sanyavana, Brahma Yajna, all these. But on the final day, when they take up the sannyasa and they take the yellow, saffron robes, when they have to accept sannyasa. Even young children, right? They at the age of 13 or 14, they give sannyasa in the Sringeri Sampradaya, also in the Kamakoti Pitam Sampradaya, and all the Sampradayas of Shankar Mata. They give sannyasa for a young person, like a brahmachari who's like 12 or 13 years old, right? At that time, he has to give everything. And if somebody is an older person, even if a married person also might be able to take up sannyasa in that. I'm not sure. I don't know if there is such a sampradaya, there could be. Then they have to give up all this grihastha karmas and everything. And on the Agni, in the final day, he has to say, I will not do any of this. And he has to take the punal and the sacred thread and throw it into the fire. And there is no karmas for them anymore. So that is known as Vividisha Sanyasa. What he says is, I am an akarta, I am not an agent, because I am Atman. Atman cannot be an agent. Shankaracharya himself takes up here one question. Everyone thinks he's always an agent. Somebody is hungry, somebody wants money, somebody is bored, they want to go somewhere. They always think that he's an agent. Why would you give this instruction that Atma is not a doer? He is not an agent at all. If you give such an instruction, nobody would follow it, right? So why would you Why is there this instruction? Shankaracharya argues against it. Look, does anybody know what will become to you after death? But you will know only by Shastra that after death somebody will take up another body. You remember, you agree with it and say, okay, some things are known only through Shastra. But do you know after you die you will become this one? How do you know? After that person goes to a different body only he can know. Otherwise he has to believe in the Shastra. Similarly, Atma is an akarta. Atma cannot work. It cannot. So if it cannot work, none of these karmas really refer to that Atma. Who does it refer to? To an ajnani, an ignorant person who thinks he is the doer. He has to achieve heaven. He has to do yajna to go to Indraloka. He has to do this one. If he thinks that he is the agent, then he will be the person, to him, the prescribed Vaidika karmas are prescribed. Otherwise, the Vaidika karmas are not prescribed to the person who is unable to act. He is one with Atman only. Atma is avikriya. Avikriya means there is no action. That is why Shankaracharya separates out all instructions on one condition. In the second chapter itself, Jnana yogena sankhyanam karma yogena yoginam. Yogis have to do karma. Sankhya people or the sannyasi people is only through jnana. The path of jnana is realization, and karma is action. Karma is not exactly action. Karma is Vedic prescribed action. So Shankaracharya separates out the instruction that the path of action is not for the jnanis or who wants to become a jnani. Videshika sannyasa is not easy too. He has to give up everything. He has to give up family. He cannot go back to the family. He cannot get married. So it's a very hard, and for at a young age of 13, 14, that person has to have that maturity. It's very hard. Vasamsi jirnani yatha vihaya. That verse is, right? Like how a person throws the old clothes and picks up new clothes, wears new clothes. Like the Jivatma throws the old body and picks up the new body. This verse is there. Then Shankaracharya does not make the shloka refer to Jivatma at all. He says only Atma. Atma takes one cloth, and so the thing is, at the end of the day, he says Atman is there. He refers to Atman, but he doesn't refer to any particular Jivatma in a sense. So he downplays the one Jivatma which is living one body and going to the another body. He downplays that. He says only there is Atma. Atma can wear any clothes. The whole universe is worn by that Atma, right? Just not the body of an individual soul. So Shankaracharya's second chapter sort of downplays the importance of an individual soul or individual Jivatma. Everything refers to Atman only for him, which is a questionable thing, right? When you say Vasamsi jirnani yatha vihaya, when somebody throws the old clothes and wears the new clothes, it refers to a Jivatma. When the Jivatma is leaving the body, they pick up another body. So you have to talk about Jivatma here, not about Paramatma. See how the Bhagavad Gita itself has arguable two different views given by the original. That is why one of my gurus, Dr. N.S. Acharya, used to say, Lord Krishna is very impartial. He gives the same amount of difficulty to all interpreters, all Acharyas. So it's very hard for them to make meaning out of Lord Krishna's words. In a way, I think Lord Krishna is asking everybody to think deeply from different perspectives. And eventually just knowing Gita is not enough. You have to have experience, you have to have knowledge, you have to have real realization. So Gita is about Brahma Vidya and Yoga Shastra. It is not a text to understand, okay, I went to 5 years of Gita education. I finished off Gita completely. I have the certificate that I know Gita. That's not it. You have to have the realization given in the Gita. Once you realize, that's a different state altogether. Any doubts on this slide? Comments, questions?
Can you interpret Vasamsi Jirnani with Atman instead of Jivatma as a focus?
Or with Atma as the focus?
Yeah.
That is Shankara Bhashya, right?
That's right, but I'm not able to understand with that perspective.
See, okay, why don't we pick up Shankara Bhashya itself in a minute, right? I have to, I'm sharing my screen. Just 1 second. I have it somewhere. Can you see my screen? Can you see my screen?
Yes.
Just 1 second. I will find out where Vasamsi Jirnani Ati Avihaya. Vasamsi Jirnani is, what verse is that? Hold on. Oops. Vasamsi Jirnani is this verse. Can anyone tell what verse is that? Let me Google it 1 second. Hold on. That is verse
222.
222. Okay, 222, right? So 22, if I go to 22, this is a good site, by the way, Gita site, right? Vasamsi jirnani yatha vihaya navani granhatena roparani tatha sharirani vihaya jirnani anyani samyati navani dehi. This is Shankara Bhashya here, okay? Vasamsi vastrani jirnani durbalatam gatani yatha loke vihaya. See what Shankaracharya says is, Vasamsi means vastrani, that is clothes. Jirnani means they are all torn apart or something, don't become very old clothes. Durbalatam gatani. Yatha loke, like how in the ordinary life, vihaya, you throw away old clothes, parityajya, navani, new clothes, abhinavani, that means brand new clothes, granhati, he picks up, uda upadate naraha purushaha. A person picks up a new cloth and wears them. Aparani anyani tatha tadvadeva sharirani vihaya. So aparani means the new clothes or different ones. In tadvadeva means similarly, sharirani vihaya, leaving the bodies, jirnani, which are old or diseased or something, anyani samyati, picks up different bodies, navani dehi, new ones. Dehi means atma. Atma purushavat avikriya eva ityartaha. See, what Shankaracharya is saying is, you think about a reference like Atman. Think about the space, something like, in this space, people are dying and people are picking up new bodies and coming up and again experiencing new life. So if you look at space, what does the space is one? In the same space, somebody is dying, they are born in another bodies, so like that. So you think, see, Shankaracharya does not refer to an individual soul, but he refers to Atma. Anyani samyati navani dehi. Look at here, dehi is singular, right? See, if you take Jivatma in each of this, then each of the Jivatmas throws away the bodies and picks up new bodies, and there are several Jivatmas. Tata sharirani vihaya jirnani anyani samyati navani dehi. So dehi here could refer to a single Jivatma, which is picking up different bodies in different lives. Or you can take Dehi as Atman, as there's only one, which is like an Antaryami. Because there is only one Antaryami which is sitting, even according to Ramanuja.org, there is only one Antaryami sitting in all the Jivas, right? Is my Antaryami wearing a new body? Yes. Because I am sitting in this body, I am a Jivatma, and in my Jivatma there is a Paramatma, which is an Antaryami. When I am wearing a new shirt, the Paramatma inside me also is wearing a new shirt. So is my own Jivatma, which is sitting here, which is wearing a new body. Suppose I die, this body goes away, then this Jivatma will go and pick up another Sharira. But inside the Jivatma, there is only one Paramatma which is common to everybody, right? That Paramatma is picking up the new body also. So you can interpret it that way also. Do you understand this?
Yes, now I understand.
So Krishna, in that context, that Ekoham Bahusyam means that Bahusyam keeps happening every day, every minute, every second.
Yeah.
For
Yeah.
that one Paramatman, he did not create once during Big Bang. He is creating every day, every moment, every millisecond he is creating.
Yes.
And he is
Yes.
creating millions of copies of himself.
Yes. Yes. Yes.
At least that is Shankara's explanation here.
Yes. Yes.
Okay. Okay. Thank you for the clarification.
So what it is, initially when I read, to be honest with you, if you even listen to my lectures 30 years ago or something, when I first gave lectures on Shankara Ramanuja Madhva, here I took all the Bhashyas and gave. At the time, I was not able to understand things clearly. I gave lectures immaturely, right? Not knowing the details. Now, when you go in very, very depth, you understand why these Acharyas look at it from different perspectives. For Shankaracharya, other than Atman or Brahman, there is nothing important for him. As I told you a long time back, it is like a Shukapatha. Shukapatha means a bird looking at a fruit in the tree, goes straight to the fruit, eats it. Pipilika Patha means an ant wants to eat the fruit. It goes down slowly, goes up, goes near the tree, goes up the tree, goes through the branches, gets to the fruit and picks it and starts eating. Pipilika Patha. These are for different different viewpoints, and these are for different types of aspirants. See, even when I was reading Natveva Hamjatu Nasam Natvam Neme Janadipaha Nachaiva Napavishyamaha Sarve Vayamath Param. In that, oh my God, how can Shankaracharya be right? Here there is plurality, and plurality is eternality. So there are eternal souls, always eternal. There is no end, there is no beginning. Everybody is separate and eternal. I took that right away like that, and I started arguing with myself and everybody around me that Shankaracharya was totally mistaken. He probably didn't even understand Sanskrit. This is the way I went so deeply. Then you go beyond it. I thought about it. If you look at somebody's in meditation, when they go in meditation, very high level people can even their bodies can be destroyed. Shankaracharya said, right, please take care of my body. I'll be inside a cave and I want to do some meditation. He told his students, but make sure nothing happens to my body, because I'll come back to it after a few days. He went into the body of a Raja, king, experienced the life, and then came back, and then went and started arguing. And he knows about even what a married man goes through in life. Right? So those kind of people, when they're focused on Brahman so much, and other than Brahman, they're not able to see anything around, then why would they see these jivas and shariras and all those things? They're focused in Brahman only. For them, nothing else is real. Like if, for example, if a person goes to a movie and he likes the movie so much and he's crying with the actor or actress crying in trouble, they start identifying themselves with the character in the movie. Even though that movie is like an unreal image, there are like particles on the screen being lighted up. They get involved in it. Once they get involved, they will forget that they were just ordinary people watching a movie and they have a different life altogether. Their life becomes one with the actor's life. With that kind of an identification, if a person becomes identified with Lord himself, and he doesn't see himself also, he forgets his own self. He forgets everything. And for a very advanced yogi, he forgets the body. He can leave, and if body is taken and even burnt, he doesn't care. Oh my God, I left my body and my home got burnt. I walked away. So the perspective from different people is from different levels of realization. So many meanings can be adjusted. Sometimes here and there, the plural usage or singular usage and other things will become an issue. For Ramanuja.org, the word Brahman occurs in the first 6 chapters so many times, and every time Ramanuja.org has to explain Brahman means Jivatma, who has a lot of realization. His Dharma Bhuta has expanded, he has become big. So the word Brahma is used to refer to Jivatma. Ramanuja.org also had to do a lot of textual corrections, right? This is where the field gets even. The battlefield is even. The systems of thought can coexist. But again, there are a lot more issues. If you come to the higher levels in the Brahma Sutras and other things like that, you'll become more complicated. Is it a level field or not? Even that becomes very complicated. But for now, we can very clearly think that each Acharya can be justified from their own perspective. I'm sure I can take a challenge. Other than Sri KSV and other people will not even talk like this. If they talk like what I'm talking, they will walk away. People will walk away and say, this guy is a confused guy. He doesn't understand Advaita. He doesn't understand Vishtadvaita. He doesn't understand Dvaita. He's totally confused. And this guy should be shunned. Most people will be thinking like that. And I wouldn't be even surprised if some people think like that too. But more and more you understand in depth, you have to respect, you learn to respect each Acharya for their own good contribution to Bhagavad Gita. Am I clear? Do I make sense? Any comments, questions, oppositions?
அடியேன் பார்வதி பேசுறேன். எனக்கு என்ன இது கரெக்டான்னு தெரியல, எனக்கு தோன்றதை சொல்றேன். ஐ எம் நாட் கான்ஃபிடென்ட், நீங்க கரெக்டான்னு சொல்லுங்க. ஜான்னு ஸ்டார்ட் பண்ற, சான்ஸ்கிரிட்ல ஜான்னு ஸ்டார்ட் பண்ற, லெட்டர்ல ஸ்டார்ட் பண்ற எல்லா திங்ஸுமே that has start and an end, like birth, janani, janaka, jatara, jagat. That's why ஆத்மா உலகத்துக்கு வர்றப்போ, பர்த் அண்ட் டெத் இருக்கிறப்போ ஜீவாத்மா அப்படின்னு சொல்றான்னு சொல்லிட்டு, இது the atma which takes the body, mind, intellect, the BMI concept, like how you said, it is called Jivatma.
Interesting observation. That may be very true. This is the first time I'm hearing, so I appreciate it. I don't know, I haven't heard this before. Ja indicates non-eternality, right? That is
yes, correct. Jananam karoti iti Jivatma.
ஆமா ஜகத் அவர்தானே ஜகத் ஆமா
that's why janani, janaka, jatara, the atma which comes in the jata, அம்மாவோட வயித்துல. So
very good observation. Any other comments, questions? Okay, we'll move further. How much time do we have? 9:27. Oh my God, they're already like more than an hour now, right?
Sir, this is Prashant here.
Okay.
I will ask questions later on because there are some disturbances here because of travel.
Oh yeah, go ahead. You note down your questions. Make a note of your questions.
Yeah, sure.
Okay. So why don't we do one thing? The concepts will be harder in the next one. Okay, I can this is the last slide anyway. Let me do one thing. Let me finish this just last slide, okay? All I'm saying here is there is a verse called Avyakta Diri Bhutani Vyakta Madhyani Bharata Avyakta Nidhananyeva Tatraka Paridevana. Right? Avyakta Dini Bhutani Vyakta Madhyani Bharata Avyakta Nidhananyeva Tatraka Paridevana. This is a verse 228 of chapter 2. Here, unmanifest or these bhutas are beings. There are unmanifest beings, that is before birth they are unmanifest, during life they are manifest, after they die they become again unmanifest. Avyakta nidhananyeva tatraka paridevana. Why are you bothered? Why are you worried about this? Beings come into existence and go out of existence. They go to unmanifest. They're not going to be destroyed, but they don't appear here. They're manifest in some other universe. So don't worry about them. This is the idea of the verse. But look at how Shankaracharya picks up a wonderful verse from Moksha Dharma. It says, Adarshana apatitah punaha cha adarshanam gataha nasa utava natasya tvam vrithaka paridevana. It's a beautiful verse from Moksha Dharma. Adarshanat apatitaha. We have fallen from the unknown, from being unseen. From the unseen, we have fallen into this seen world. Punascha adarshanam gataha. Afterwards, we are not seen anymore. We are gone. Na sau. Tava. This person doesn't belong to you. Natasya tvam. You don't belong to that person. Vrithaka paridevana. Why are you worried about when one person dies and one person is born? Why are you worried? This is a beautiful verse from Moksha Dharma, quoted by Shankaracharya. I thought it was very nice to know. See, only when you see different Acharyas, you see different types of Shruti Vakyas and Purana Vakyas and others popping up. And those are very, even verses from Mahabharata, Bhagavata and all. They are extremely nice verses to remember because that will help you in our journey. So with this, I'm ending this unless you have any other questions. If you have no questions, we can end, but please let me know. So in the next class, we'll go and take up some more concept from Shankara Bhashya in the chapter 3, end of chapter 2, end of chapter 3, end of chapter 3, chapter 4. 4 we have to start, right? So we have to come to the fundamentals of what is 4. I'm just trying to remind you. Was this session useful to you? Or was it just a repetition of what I told a long time back and it is not useful?
Absolutely useful.
Very useful.
Very good. Very good. It was
Today is
useful
my-
to
Today is my
Sarva?
first session. I find it very, very interesting. I love the way you explained about that BMI, the Jivatma and Paramatma relationship with body, mind, and intellect. Thank you so much. I enjoyed it. Romba nana irundhathu.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much. You are on the Telegram channel too. Did you register to the Telegram channel also?
Yeah, sure. I will.
Okay, very good. Who introduced you to this group?
Malolan. Avar irkar in the group.
Excellent.
In fact, incidentally, today is also my first session live. I was following your lectures on YouTube whenever I had some time. So then now I thought with this timing was actually suiting us with this. Maybe I'm in Switzerland. So
Very good. Where are
this,
you? Where do you live?
In Geneva.
Oh,
I'm in Geneva. Yes.
Oh, you live in Geneva. Oh, interesting. Jaya Kumar is there, right, in Geneva?
Yes. We are all learning Gita Bhashyam, Ramanuja Bhashyam from her. In fact, we just finished the 18th chapter last week.
Excellent.
So we had a last 4 or 5 years of session with Jaya Mami on Ramanuja Bhashyam. So now understanding about Shankara Bhashyam now with you is a completely different, very interesting perspective.
Excellent. So we have uploaded about 62 lectures now. This is the 62nd lecture. Yeah.
I need to catch up on the old ones. We'll definitely do that. It's a very, very useful session and look forward to continue joining you live every week. You're doing every Saturdays, right? Once a week.
Same time for me, 8 o'clock roughly. We start at like 8:15. 8:15 to 9:15 usually. Now it's 9:30 here. So 1 hour 10 minutes, 1 hour 15 minutes. That's how we do.
Perfect. Thank you so much for this opportunity. Thank you.
Thank you very much for the opportunity again. அதே நம்ம மாலோல இருந்தா என்னையும் சொன்னாரு. இன்னைக்கு தான் என்னோட ஃபர்ஸ்ட் லைவ் செஷன் உங்களது யூடியூப்ல கேட்டுட்டு இருந்தேன். So again very happy to hear it live.
Excellent. So all of you are from Geneva. You, Parvati, and
we were Parvati nanu Geneva la irundom. Now I am in Denmark. Parvati is in US, and nanu Malolan ellam we have been kind of understudy with Jaya Mami on Ramanuja Gita Bhashya.
Very good. Nice to have you all in this group. Namaskaram. Anything else? Okay. अस्मत् गुरुभ्यो नमः, अस्मत् परम गुरुभ्यो नमः, अस्मत् सर्व गुरुभ्यो नमः, श्री कृष्ण परब्रह्मणे नमः, श्री लक्ष्मी नृसिंह परब्रह्मणे नमः, श्री लक्ष्मी हायवदन परब्रह्मणे नमः, सर्वं श्री कृष्णार्पणमस्तु।